Hi, I'm Christina and this is my September TBR. So I have 8 books here that I'm planning to read in the month of September, which is very ambitious for me, but all of my library holds came in at exactly the same time, so here we are. I have 3 contemporary novels, 2 historical fiction, 2 science fiction and 1 thriller. So let's just start with the contemporary novels. First up, I have Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson, and this is her debut novel, and I really like the premise of this story. So sadly, a woman has passed away and her 2 estranged children meet again at her funeral, and they discover a very unusual inheritance. So she's left behind a voice recording about their family, and it's a story about a woman who leaves her home under suspicion of murder. And she also leaves behind a recipe for a traditional Caribbean black cake, and her final request is share the black cake when the time is right. So I just think that sounds so intriguing. I just really like the premise of that, and it just sounds so good. So yeah, I can't wait to read this one. Oh, so I forgot to say on this book, it is blurbed by Mary Beth Keane, who is the author of Ask Again Yes, and that is one of the best books that I read last year in 2021, and it's actually one of my favourite contemporary novels of all time. So when I saw that she'd blurbed this, she said this novel has a tremendous heart at its centre, and I felt its beat on every page. What an extraordinary debut. I already wanted to read this story, but when I saw that little quote on the back, I thought, I want to read it even more. So yes, that was that one. So let's get on to the next contemporary novels. So I have There Are More Things by Yara Rodrigues Fowler. And this one is actually on the shortlist for the George Orwell Prize for Political Fiction this year in 2022. And I had so much fun following the Women's Prize for Fiction this year and last year that I've decided I want to follow one more prize for now. I probably will start following some more. But there's only so many hours in the day to read, and I thought this prize sounds right up my street. I have always loved politics in fiction, and political fiction is something that has always intrigued me. I actually did my dissertation on the linguistics in political language, so I've always loved it. And yeah, I just really, really want to start reading this shortlist. And when I saw the shortlist announcement, I had a little look at the books. I literally want to read every single story on that shortlist because they all sound so good. So I actually do have 3 books from the shortlist on this TBR. So this one, to get back to this one, is about 2 women who meet for the first time, and they are both of Brazilian origin. One of them was born in Brazil to a very political family, and the other one was born in London, and she was raised by her mother and her grandmothers. And it says it's just a story that spans generations and times, and it's meant to be really beautiful. It says it's a love story, the length of a life, as big as the city, the size of the sea. And I think it sounds really good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one too. So now let's move on to the historical fiction. I have A Passage North. This is also on the shortlist for the Orwell Prize for Political Fiction, and it was also shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2021. And honestly, I've heard so many wonderful things about this story. It's meant to be such a beautiful read. So it is about a man who receives a message that his grandmother's caregiver has passed away. So he starts to make the long journey by train from the Sri Lankan capital into the war-torn northern provinces for the funeral. And yeah, I just want to see what all the hype is about on this one. I have heard so many wonderful things, and I just want to know what's happening. So that's that one. So the next contemporary novel that I would like to read, which is also on the shortlist for the Orwell Prize, is Assembly by Natasha Brown. And this is a tiny little book. It's so small, so I really don't want to know too much about it because it might ruin it, but I will just see what the inside flap says. So it says, come of age in the credit crunch, be civil in a hostile environment, step out in the world of go home vans, go to Oxbridge, get an education, start a career, do all the right things, buy a flat, buy art, buy a source of happiness, but above all, keep your head down, keep quiet and keep going. So yeah, I know very little about this one, but I'm really looking forward to reading it. It's such a tiny little thing. And yeah, really looking forward to seeing what's actually going to happen in this story. This is the one I know the least about, so I will report back when I've actually read this one. So there you go. Now, the last contemporary book I have is Apples Never Fall by Liane Moriarty. So Liane Moriarty is a little bit of a hit and miss author for me. The first book I read by her, Big Little Lies, is obviously very, very well known, and it is one of my favourite books of all time. I love that book. It's so wonderful, has such a lovely special place in my heart and my memory. So that one was wonderful. And then I read Nine Perfect Strangers by her, which I didn't really like, honestly. I felt it was so underwhelming, it was so disappointing. I only gave that one 2 stars. It just wasn't my cup of tea at all. I just didn't like it, and yet Big Little Lies was wonderful, definite 5-star. And then I also read The Husband's Secret, and that was good. It was 3 stars, I enjoyed it. It was fine, it was good. I liked it. So I've kind of had every part of the spectrum with Liane Moriarty so far. I've had a book that I've adored, that is an absolute favourite, one I really didn't like, and one that was good. So I'm not sure where it's going to fall, this one. But I know it's about a family with 4 adult siblings, and their mother disappears. And the question is, would you go to the police if you thought the main suspect for your mother's disappearance was your father? So, we'll see. I would love it if this was another Big Little Lies for me, but we will just have to see. I've got good hopes for it, but also Nine Perfect Strangers was not for me, so we will see. So that is that one. So let's move on to the science fiction. I have read 2 science fiction books recently, and I've really enjoyed them. One of them was just absolutely wonderful, and it's a new favourite. So good. And the other one I just enjoyed. So I'm definitely in a science fiction mood recently, and I just want to keep reading more. I haven't read that many science fiction books this year, but I'm just absolutely in the mood for them now. So here we are. So this one is The End of Men by Christina Sweeney-Baird. And this one was nominated for the Goodreads Choice Awards in 2021 for the science fiction category, and I've had my eye on this book ever since then. So it's been quite a long time coming, actually. So the premise of this one is it's set in Scotland in 2025, and there is a virus that is only killing men. And the idea is that we watch the survivors, the women survivors, and see how they cope with the world. And I always used to love kind of dystopian fiction about viruses specifically. This was obviously a long time before COVID. And yeah, I just want to start reading those types of books again. I think it's time. So I'm really looking forward to this one. I have, like I said, always enjoyed dystopian fiction about viruses and organisms and fungus and all of those kind of things. So yeah, looking forward to this one. And now I have another science fiction one, and one that's kind of science fiction but kind of more of a thriller, but they're by the same author, so I'll just show you them both at the same time. So I have Aurora by David Koepp, and I also have Cold Storage by David Koepp. So he is the screenwriter from Jurassic Park, which is why I was so interested to read them, and they were both actually recommended by Bookshanks, who I will leave linked down below, and she recommended both of these books. So I just got both. I put them both on reserve at my library, and I thought I'm just gonna read whichever one comes in first, and they literally came in on the same day. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum now, seeing which one to read first. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to these. So Cold Storage is his debut novel, which came out in 2019, and then Aurora is his most recent novel, which came out this year in 2022. So let's start with his debut novel. This one is about 3 strangers who must work together to contain a highly contagious, deadly organism, which just sounds really good. Sounds right up my street. And it also said that it's for people who love to read Blake Crouch, which I did. I love Recursion by him, and also Andy Weir, and I adored Project Hail Mary. In fact, Recursion and Project Hail Mary are 2 of my favourite science fiction books of all time, along with the one that I read last month. So yeah, I thought I'm definitely looking forward to these ones. And Aurora is about a solar storm has hit the Earth, and the lights have gone out across the planet, and this blackout could last years and years and years. So yeah, that one sounds really good too. So yeah, I'm not sure which one to read first, but we will see which one I pick up. So these are all the books that I'm planning to read in the month of September, and honestly, this is too ambitious for me now I see them like this. There's some really big books here, but we will see how I get on, and if they start rolling into October, then they will start rolling into October. So if you have read any of these books, I would love to know what you thought of them down in the comments below. And let me know if you've read more than one of them, which one was your favourite, or which one you think I should start with, because honestly, I just don't know where to begin now. I think I may begin with the Orwell Prize, but honestly, I do have my eye on one of those David Koepp ones because I'm in the mood for science fiction. So we will see which one I pick up next. It's probably going to be science fiction, let's not lie, because I've just read two great ones and I'm definitely in the mood for them. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video if you've liked it, and please do subscribe if you'd like to see more of me talking about books and to hear my thoughts on all of these. Bye!